When you're dating from your emotions, then you date blindfolded. You're dating to your disadvantage when you're dating from your emotions. You got to date with intention, and you got to date with some common sense. Common sense is when you understand the science that certain things don't work, then you simply don't do it. You simply don't do it. So if you went on a date and there's a disconnection, you got to understand that men are dating multiple people the same way you should be dating multiple people. As a matter of fact, it's funny how all the Build-A-Bears get mad when I'm advising you to date at least 3 men at a time, when men have perfected the idea of not wasting their time. And here's the argument. Here's the argument that they use on why women shouldn't date multiple people. All the while, they themselves are not only dating multiple people, but they're sleeping with multiple people. You shouldn't be sleeping with anybody, okay? You're not giving your cookies out for free. Your jewels are valuable, okay? He has to earn a commitment before you even do any hanky-panky with him. But all these men that are complaining because I'm advising you to date, to interview, to vet at least 3 people at a time, when men have perfected it. Because one thing about a man is he is not going to waste his time. And he understands that if he's single, he is single. And as a single person, then he can do whatever the heck he wants to do with his time. Just because a guy likes you does not mean that you owe him your exclusivity, ma'am. It boggles my mind how many women say that they're feminists. Like, ma'am, clock out. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're a minimus, okay? You're a tichondrivist. I don't know what the hell you are. Because if you're worried about what a man's going to think about you because of how you use your own personal time, because you value yourself enough to vet, to make sure you're choosing the best quality man to spend your life with, when this decision has the biggest impact above any other decision in your entire life, because choosing the wrong man can cost you your friendships, your family, your home, your car, your job, and your life. And you think that just because a man likes you, he should just be able to get what? Like you eliminating all your options? Like all of your options? And he hasn't even committed to you. Can somebody make that math for me? Because I carried the 1. Okay? And I added the 2. And it's not, the graph is not lining up. It's not. It's not lining up. You don't owe him your exclusivity. And if you are sitting there calling yourself a feminist and you're worried about what a man thinks about you on how you're using your own personal time, and you're letting that dictate your behavior, then you're not empowered, man. You're still a slave. You're still a slave to the opinions of men. You're still trying to earn the approval of men rather than date in your power. There's no way no woman should ever be dating one man at a time. Ma'am, I don't know. Let's just go in the common sense corner for a second. Unlike men who can have babies when they're like 100,000 years old, okay? Their whole tennis balls can be shriveled up into prune sacks, and they're still having babies until they're like 1,000,000 years old. For us women, we have a finite amount of time, which means our time is extremely valuable. Our time is extremely valuable. We don't have time to just give one man who may or may not be a Build-A-Bear, who may or may not be serious about commitment, who may or may not be wanting to settle down, who hasn't even shown us that he deserves our consideration, let alone our exclusivity. We don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. It took you 8 months to determine that this man was no good. You literally dated a man for freaking 8 months. which that was a waste of time in itself. All for you to determine that this man didn't want a commitment. All because you wanted to do the one at a time. When you do one at a time, you're more likely to bond with him, which is what men say. This is what the Build-A-Bears say. Well, if you date multiple men at a time, then you're less likely to really form a connection with a man. Hello? That's the point. That's the point. The point is to slow down your natural tendency to bond with him and to use your logical mind to see the signs, to vet him, to make sure that he is who he says he is, to let him have a chance to fall for you. Because in order for a man to truly be able to bond to you, he has to produce vasopressin, and he needs time to produce the vasopressin receptors. You have to give him time to produce the vasopressin receptors. If he doesn't have time to produce the vasopressin receptors, ma'am, I don't care how much in the beginning he seems like he's into you. It is not going to last long term. When you're in the courting phase, remember, you're the garden, okay? The gardener has to water, has to fertilize, has to till the ground, has to nurture it. The garden isn't sitting there trying to give back to the gardener immediately. It can't. It's incapable of producing the vegetable and the fruit up front yet. Your job is to let him pour into you. You are doing him a favor when you let this man work to earn you, instead of you now trying to turn back around and give to him. He buys you flowers and then you want to buy him a cigar. He takes you out on a date and you want to offer to pay the tip. What are you doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? He calls you once and now you want to call him 2 more times. It makes no sense. Okay? He buys you something for your birthday and you're not even in a committed relationship and you want to turn around and buy him a whole montage of things. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. It's clouded with a chance of no, ma'am. Men don't work like us, ladies. Men don't work like us. They don't fall in love like us. They don't bond like us. They don't connect like us. That's not how they work. When a man is giving to you, when he's pouring into you, there's a biochemical process happening in him. His testosterone is dropping. His serotonin is dropping. Matter of fact, the fact that he wants to give to you is showing you that this biochemical process is happening. He's releasing dopamine. The dopamine makes him feel good when he gives to you and you appreciate it. It's your appreciation. That's the only thing you owe him. Period. Your appreciation is worth more than anything. It's funny because in the beginning, when me and my husband were married and we would celebrate our anniversary, or a birthday or whatever, I would like go all out of my way and buy my husband like all this stuff, right? And my husband would be so like lukewarm. Like he would give me all this stuff and I'm like, oh my God, this is so sweet. So then I'll turn around, I'm getting him a teddy bear, I'm buying him watches, I'm doing all this stuff and buying him cards and stuff. And my husband's like lukewarm. I'm seeing my gift like tossed to the side somewhere. And so I'm like, he doesn't even really care the stuff that I'm giving him. So I said, let me try something. I stopped giving him gifts. I stopped giving him gifts for these special holidays and let my husband pour into me. Y'all, my husband, the way he looks when I show him appreciation in my feminine energy, the look in his face when I'm like genuinely happy is way better than any look he had when I gave him a gift. He don't need it. Teddy bears and balloons and flowers ain't ruffling his feathers like it does for us. He could care less. He could care less. What he cares about, though, what makes him feel good, though, is when I'm like, oh, baby, oh, my God, this is so sweet. Like, y'all, we all the way in Thailand. My husband surprised me when we came back to our villa. He had the people set it up. They had teddy bears on the bed, chocolate covered strawberries, the 2 dozen purple lavender roses, which purple is my favorite color. There was a cake. There was balloons. Like, I was like, oh, a bathtub with rose. I was like, oh my God. Like, I was so happy. My husband was as happy as a clam. He didn't get nothing. I didn't give him nothing, but I gave him some, but I didn't give him nothing else. I gave him my appreciation and some, but nothing else. And he was just fine with that. Ladies, if you keep trying to outdo a man and being a man, you will lose.